And we are actioning once more onto the Dauphin, dear friends.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're here for this one.
Hi, Stuart.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm not too bad. I got the time wrong because my PC had a crash. There's a couple of crashes today, and I had the same problem I had a couple of weeks ago of it being 1 hour off. Came back, so I was like, calling you, Stuart. I'm like, what does my phone say? Not what my PC says. Goddamn crash. So I got an hour extra time. It was great. Shows how completely off the day I was.
I see you're calling me. I don't have Skype signed in on my phone right now, so I wasn't getting them on my phone because I wasn't in front of my computer.
That's good. It's funny because you were not on Skype, and then I called you, then you were. So I was like, oh, okay, good. He's only 2 minutes late. It's fine. It's fine. But Stuart, I have a question for you, and don't answer it with words. Answer with a face, because we're not there yet, right?
God. Okay.
Wow, what a nice face. So this episode, is coming after Measure of a Man, one of the most famous Trek episodes of all time. Is this a good post Measure of a Man episode? Wow, he paused. Is this a good post Measure of a Man episode? Does it quite continue the streak of amazing episodes?
I mean, it's better than some of the season 1 episodes, but yeah, it's not quality of Measure of Man by any means.
Yes, but we know it would not be. That would have been a hell of a thing, hell of a surprise reveal, if it was. Yeah. So how's the Star Wars game going?
Good.
It's funny. The IGN review was quite negative, but then I watched another reviewer who was very positive. There was a very alternate takes on it. So all things are subjective, but it's interesting to see. Someone saying it felt quite generic and was dull, and they're all saying it's actually quite interesting if you like that sort of stuff. And it's like,
I'm enjoying it. So.
Yeah, I guess it's what you look for rather than not.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to share a new chapter.
Hello, everyone. How you doing? It's us. We're here again. It's time for the PayPal and Super Chat speech. Super Chats help the channel. They get your voice heard, your question answered, your comment read, and they help the channel out. They help us out, which is great. There's also a lot of links down below. You can go to PayPal, send us money that way. PayPal doesn't scoop 30% off the top like YouTube does with Super Chats. However, it is an uncertain time for YouTube. And considering how ad revenue has really gone down, a great way to help us out is Super Chats or heading over to our Patreon, which the links for that is in the description below, as there's some ways to save yourself some money. If you're on Trekyards, chances are you like ships. We do like ships. Ships tonight specifically, but we've built 5 years of history on ships. So if you guys enjoy ships, which I know you do, make sure you check out the Eagle Moss link. You can save yourself 15% off orders of $50 or more, which is super easy to do when you're out shopping on Eagle Moss. But you save yourself $15 or 15%, when you enter the code Trekyards at checkout. All the links to all that cool stuff is down below. Also, pick up some of the cool Trekyards merchandise. It's Christmas time coming up. We might have a sale coming up on the Teespring store. So check it out. There's a lot of cool Fleet Yards and Trekyard stuff there. So go check out and maybe grab yourself something. We've seen a lot of people wearing our shirts and stuff when we've been at conventions, and that's great to see. We love seeing that kind of stuff. So let us know if you got anything, but go check out the links down below and look at all the cool goodness that we have down there. Or you can head over to trekyards.com and hit the donate button there as well. It's a good way to just pay through PayPal essentially, but it all helps us out. And if you want to just keep seeing us on your screens, the best way to do that is to support the channel, and you have lots of ways to do so. So no excuses. Jarzia, I will read your super chat as soon as Samuel comes back. And speak of the devil, there he is. He's come back.
The devil.
We just got
a little bit extreme.
We just got a super chat, and I said, "Well, I'll read that super chat as soon as Samuel comes back." And you put your earbud right in. So
the timing.
But Jarzia throws in $5 Canadian.
There you
go. After a matter of honor and a measure of a man, this episode, like going over Niagara Falls, it's not the worst of TNG, but probably in the bottom 15%. I don't know if it's in the bottom 15%, but it's one of the more forgettable ones. It's not really a bad episode. It's just forgettable. There's a difference, I think.
Yeah, it's funny. I got literally to the point when she's like, "Goodbye, Governor Transformer, Transformatron." There you go. I'm ready now. I'm going to leave. And then I had a revelation about the plot. And I was like, "Oh, this is how I feel about this episode." It got me to that point in the episode to know how I felt. I was waiting.
Wow. I just wish the governess Anya wasn't the old lady the whole time. I preferred when she was the much younger lady, which I'd completely forgotten about. I completely forgot about that whole scene because, damn.
We finally have cuties in Trek, from my perspective.
Yeah. But I've not remembered that because
it's one of those few times the women don't like they're from the 80s. They've kind of like the look has transcended the era. It's just like it works in many levels. And 53 people watching, 17 likes because I clicked like. So please, I want to see at least 30 likes by the end of our brief. What do we think? So Stuart, briefly, but not really, except in a full spoiler. What did you think? And how many notes did you take? Because I took 2.5 pages. Wow, 2 1/3.
I took this many.
Oh, okay.
Which is a little below average for an episode. So
yeah, fair enough. What do you think, Stuart, overall, with shout outs and call outs and things?
Well,
actually, hold on. Before that, what did you remember going in? Because I had very limited memories of this one.
Oh, I had complete 100% memories of this one, actually, except for that one scene that I was talking about. But yeah, this is one that sticks out to me, actually, from our last rewatch with Sylvia, because we were cracking jokes about the shapeshifter thing and how every time there's a new shapeshifter in Star Trek, it's like, oh, I thought you were mythical. That kind of shit. Oh, this one's described as something morph. I have it written down. So they can actually change. They're not just looking like changing the shape to something. They're actually becoming that thing biologically. So it's a little bit different. But I mean, this one was. See, I want to say forgettable, but then I just said I remembered it. It's the coming of age Wesley story. I'm a whiny little hormonal bitch.
Was he
story.
whiny though?
Yeah, for a little bit. Was it fun? Was it fun for you?
Well, I mean,
playing humanoid.
I mean, that's relatable if you're trying to think about the situation. I mean, you can't exactly disagree with the extreme sentiment. So whiny.
I agree. He wasn't whiny for very long. Let's put it that way. But I guess I can understand it. Sure. Yeah. No, overall, just a all right episode. Not one of the best of Trek, but still at the same time very Trek-ish, and definitely better than some of the ones from season 1. And not, I wouldn't say one of the worst episodes, just one that's kind of like, you can go without it if you want. But I don't know. I don't have much to say about this one, to be honest.
Yeah, going in, I remembered the storyline and the reveal for what it was. I think her being shapeshifter is no reveal at all, really. I think you would assume she's a shapeshifter more than you wouldn't, given the fact that you've seen the other lady. Like, someone said in the chat, it's a reveal. I don't really think it's a reveal. It's just a natural... You know what I mean? There's no real leap there, so it's not really a reveal to me. This episode is interesting because it's not bad, but it's trying. I think it's got the A and the B story, and like you say, there's no real A and B. It's the same story but different threads. I still call it an A and B because yes, the A story, the B is then the A story is the diplomacy stuff, the B story is the Wesley stuff, in the scheme of what the story's trying to tell us. But really, the A story should have been the Wesley crush. The B story should have been,
the Wesley crush.
Yeah. And the B plot should have been the politics. Like, the politics means jack shit in the grand scheme. This episode has nothing to the Trek lore, but Wesley stuff is the stuff that's going to carry forward. And so you go so much into the politics, which is why it's self-interesting, but we don't get any resolution with that, any satisfying resolution. It just stops. There's no meat there at all. So you'll feel incredibly unsatisfied by the end. And the Wesley stuff comes along, you think, okay, is this the point of the episode? If it is, we're given 3 decent scenes, but there's not enough meat there either. So they tried to do both worlds and failed at both, but they both work well together. But I think they completely misbalanced the episode and didn't understand what they were trying to do. And because of that, it fails. And I'm trying to say a lot of different things here, but it works as a basic episode, but it could have been a good episode if they'd focused on one or the other. You know, like they already cut to them, like she's already on the ship. So to say they start and 10 forward, Wesley's talking to Guinan and she walks in. He's like, who's that? Oh, we're diplomacying something to somewhere. Cut to him talking to Riker. Like, you streamline the first third because it doesn't matter the politics. It didn't make any difference to the plot, and you cut right into it, and then you get tangible fun stuff. You play with the shapeshifter stuff. You play with all that stuff, and then you end in a similar place just to maybe explain why she's important. But the way they did it, I thought was poor in the. And what do you think? I said a lot there. What do you think?
And the interweaving of it. Yeah, I agree with that, because a lot of the best scenes are actually when Wesley's honestly getting advice from people. Especially the whole scene with Riker and Guinan. I just love that. And she's like, "Shut up, kid." You know, that's a good, memorable scene. And I didn't remember that it was in this episode specifically. But it is a fantastic scene, and I love the way that they play that scene out. So,
and that's a great example of two great actors, and Whoopi bringing her A game, and then Frakes saying, "I'm going to bring my A game. I'm going to do right back an A game." So that you can see just excellent actors just doing good stuff, and that you don't see all the time. Which is why Measure of Man, Picard's talking to the admiral, the other captain. She's not quite bringing it, and you sense a disconnect. Whereas they're so on the same wavelength as Riker and thing was good. But I just think they're trying to do two things failed, and like Wesley's stuff wasn't bad, and they had promise and potential. They just didn't use most of it.
Yeah. Although, we'll get there when we get there. About the advice thing. But anyway.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say it's forgettable, just extremely mediocre. Because nothing really happens. Nothing's learned, nothing's expanded on. He finds his first love, but doesn't leave a mark on him, you know?
Yeah.
But
if she was Klingon, she would have left a mark on him. We learned that.
And marks in the ceiling, and walls, and it's been good.
True.
Good times. But yes.
All right.
Da, 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 da.
So they're heading to pick her up, and there's a nice, attractive helm officer, which is nice. Who's in the whole episode? I forget her name though.
And she gets dialogue, therefore not just an extra. And I was thinking, well, I guess they chose to pay this woman extra. It's normally you have an established person doing it. But I was like, okay, cool, extra lady, sure, cool.
Well, you think it would be Wesley, right?
Well, why wouldn't you have him at the start? Yeah.
Well, anyway. But we find out from engineering that they have to make routine adjustments to the deuterium control conduit because they are far overdue. And even though they got to get this lady there to stop a civil war, let's do it now. Let's not wait till we get there and then do it. Let's just wait because, people are dying. We can wait, but that's fine.
I mean, I'm sure those 6 million deaths really cared about the deuterium matrix running at 99.996 rather than 99.91 efficiency. Yeah, Geordie was very tone deaf there in his question. Tone deaf. Geordie, come on, mate. Stop letting people die.
But he sends Wesley down to ship stores to get a model SCM unit.
Well, it's funny as well because the lack of warp also doesn't mean a thing in the episode. Like, it only means they take longer, but then just make the planet further away.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't do anything. It didn't mean anything. It was weird. It was a lack of story. There's a lot of lack of story in this episode when they're implying story. It's weird.
But they try contacting the planet, and they're having issues with communications because the planet's troposphere is distorting the signal. It's actually a very inhospitable planet. So why was this girl here for 16 years? Blah blah blah. But anyway, we find out that Anya. Anya says, "Have you come for Celia of Dalig 4? Yes, we have. We're here to pick her up. Okay, what species are you? Human. Excellent." And then Celia has the rank of head of state, we find out. So, yeah, we kind of get a little bit of a intro to this, but I mean, it's kind of like, eh. I mean, the troposphere thing comes in later because it's like such an inhospitable planet to humans, is what Riker says. Why would anyone choose to live here? But I mean, it's all right.
Yeah, I guess they're laying in the seeds they're not human, but we know they're not human so early on in the story that all this laying the groundwork doesn't really mean anything. And I'll skip to the end because you mentioned it. Well, at the end they say, "Oh, the race there has got a power source so powerful they can get a one-way signal through. Let's beam down;
Yeah.
it'll be fine." I'm like, well, if they have to take an entire power source to get a signal up, there's no way you can beam down because that takes even more power, and it's a less refined signal. And it's like, what a stupid script point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no way they could do that. End of story. It's like, what?
Yeah.
I guess because they're doing this first planet, it makes sense. But it's like, but then you also had two-way communication, so it wasn't. Why introduce stupid plot points? Why are they writing these things in?
Well, this one, Worf boosted the signal so it came in clear. So I assume this troposphere isn't quite as bad as the other planet because the other one was whatever teragigs, whatever the hell it was.
But I assume you noticed that nonsensical bit of non-plot.
Oh yes. I have it written down how much energy it produces, and it's like that's more than our entire starship can produce. What's required to communicate through the troposphere? It's like, yeah, well, transporter is sensitive and really
dangerous, maybe. I mean,
yeah, they only provide coordinates. They don't, amplify the signal with the transporter on their end or something silly.
I mean, I guess you could argue they do beam them off their ship. They signal in. Because, I mean, you would beam using the buffers on the Enterprise, maybe, but they don't say it. It's a non-point because nothing happens.
They mentioned coordinates in the carrier signal, so maybe if you use the carrier signal to have the transporter beam and ride the carrier signal down, I don't know. There's probably a technical explanation for it. Should we get into it, which we could, but
this is one of those ones where the writer didn't care about the science stuff, and yet he tried to add this is more Discovery level sort of. We're going to throw in a thing and then either not need it or ignore it. One scene later, it's like, well, why write it in then?
Because it seemed like a good idea at the time,
but
it was part of the script later, and then they changed it.
Possibly. No, it was late. This one has some lazy stuff. Which again, if you just cut it out, you could add more stuff to the meat.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels important at the time. It's not like it's padding, because it adds texture to the journey. But the journey isn't the point of the journey. It's the people.
Well, what does Ensign Kim say? It's all about the journey.
To the journey.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're going to treat her like a head of state, which I assumed Picard would say, "Gentlemen, please get into your dress uniforms." Didn't. Seriously, when he said that, when he said she's a head of state, we're going to treat her and her, governess exactly like they should be treated. Let's go to the transporter room. I assumed it would be like full dress uniform, gentlemen, and everybody would be like, oh.
I guess the technicality that she isn't head of state, but her title makes it equivalent in importance. It's like, well, you're not a head of state, but it's like you have diplomatic immunity, but you're not a diplomat. Is that sort of vibe? It's like, well, you're not a diplomat, so you don't have to have the relegation, but you have the power of a diplomat, even though you're not a diplomat. It's like a diplomat's wife. It's like, well, you have the immunity, but we're not going to dress up for you because you're not actually a diplomat.
Yeah.
But it made it seem very important. I was like, oh, this episode promised lots of cool things.
Yes.
I think quite
delivered on a few of them.
Yeah.
But they beam up.
Yeah.
Oh,
go
ahead.
That's me.
All right, so they beam up and we get introduced to her and her old crone of a. God, I hate that woman. Anyway, matter energy controls. Can I take a look? Sure, you can. I know I can arrange a tour of the ship if you'd like. Oh, I'd love that. She can't. That won't be necessary. Like, oh, wow. All right, that's that scene summed up real quick.
And there's a lot of this exact scene. Like, I liked the woman's acting, the girl's acting, because I think she brought a nice innocence and naivety to it. But they kept repeating the same. You can't do something. I'm gonna pout. And I was thinking,
Yeah.
and I was thinking, like it was that 4 to 5 times. I was like, yeah, we've had this already.
Yes.
It was. They ran out of ideas very quickly.
Yeah.
Even why does she? I know they're trying to tell us that she's okay. Studying for 16 years, she knows tech. Make that into the story then. Why are you
Well,
giving this?
I think it's a way to impress Wesley when she first sees him in a second. She's like, "Ooh, that's superconductor magnet," and blah blah blah. So it's like they got something in common because he's that geeky kind
Yes,
of technicky nerd.
but it's like the lady later on. Why does she try to help Jordan? That never comes up again. It's like, why is that in there? Like, at least fix the like. It'd been great if the warp drive just failed. They fixed it for them. And they're like, how do you know? Oh, your primitive warp cores. And they're like, wait, what do you mean primitive? You lived on a backward planet for the next 16 years. Oh, we're more advanced than you. Wait, what? Like, you get a sense they're more advanced, but they don't take us that level at any point. It's weird.
It is
Weird.
But then we find out that they're putting them in quarters that are usually reserved for Starfleet admirals, so they'll be quite comfortable. And then they run into Wesley, who's holding the unit, not his unit, the unit. And she says, that's a superconducting magnet, isn't it? Be careful. Those can rip the iron out of your blood cells. It's a pretty powerful magnet. But yeah, I mean, nice scene. He seems all in awe of her. And I love how he asks Riker, who's that? I don't think she'll have any time for you, Wes. She's destined to rule an entire world. So a great job shooting him down there, Riker.
Yeah. This episode's odd because season 2 is doing a better job at really knowing who the characters are, as some season 1 was as well, but they don't quite do Riker right, and they don't do Picard particularly well. Like, they focus on the new characters more, but they don't really do justice to the old characters, whereas often, like, you can get a bit with them, but this isn't really Riker. I wouldn't think Riker would act like this, personally. I guess he's having a weird day, but this wouldn't be what I think Riker would say, so I felt like, oh, okay, a bit stilted.
Yeah, well.
But again, I like the acting, the you know, it's fun, it's fine, it's nice. Obviously, we know the plot at this point. It's like, oh, yeah.
So, yep.
Wink. It's that sort of plot.
Wesley goes straight back to his quarters. You can see the module he has there on the table in the background. But my question is, where's his holo mirror? I mean, I would much rather look at a holo mirror than a real mirror, you know, and considering they were so prevalent and like super great quality in Discovery, you think... Sorry, I shouldn't have brought that up. Look, there's a real mirror because we wouldn't want crazy funky shit if we didn't need it.
Anyway, Stuart, we ignore Discovery canon because it doesn't need to be listened to. And Robert Hayes says, who are Wesley's guardians? Well, it's a two-prong answer. One, he's already out of age to be Starfleet Academy, so in that culture he's already an adult, so he doesn't need one. And B, they put Riker in charge of his training, which means he'd be the closest thing. But he doesn't need a guardian. He's old enough not to need a guardian if he could be in Starfleet. Yeah,
Riker was in charge of his schoolwork, and
doesn't need a guardian.
Everybody else had like assignments for him, I guess.
And didn't it stick out to you the fact that his costume was not zipped up at the back? Like his belt area wasn't zipped up fully? And
it never is. It is zipped up fully. It's supposed to be like that. It always is.
Really? It looks really messy.
Nope, it's how it always is.
Oh. Yep. That's dumb.
Yep. Yeah, well, just keep an eye on it throughout the course of the series. It's always like that.
Well, I saw it in 2 scenes. I was like, oh, they filmed these scenes back to back because they didn't fix it. They didn't see it in editing.
Nope.
Oh.
Even if they didn't want it to zip all the way, they could have a hook at the top to hook it together. It would have looked a lot neater. But yeah, they were going for a look there, and I guess
it failed.
You know, yeah. But he talks to Data, and we find out that both of her parents died, but they're both from opposite sides of a civil war that had lasted for centuries. It's hoped that she will unite the factions and bring peace to the planet. So,
but it's
and then Geordi,
yeah.
Oh, and then Geordi chimes in. Wes, are you all right? We're waiting for that magnet. So anyway, he got distracted and went straight to his quarters to preen himself.
Which I like the idea of, although then why has Data gone to his quarters?
My assumption is that he called Data just Data came in, you wanted to see me or something like that.
Oh. So Data called him from being currently in charge of the... No, I guess Picard took back over the bridge. I guess. So as soon as Picard gets up there, Wesley calls Lieutenant Commander Data down to his quarters, and Picard's like, meant to be part of the ship. Sorry, sir, Wesley needs me. It's like, what? You're both on duty. Why? Your quarters, what? And why would you ask Data for advice? I don't know.
He was asking Data for information, not advice.
Oh.
Data's the perfect person for information, because you get too much information all the time.
I would have gone to the bridge, which she does later, but it's okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
But I do like that he forgets about Geordi, although that gives you a weird, like... You can't just Geordi standing in engineering, just tapping his feet, saying, it should take him 13 minutes. It's been an hour and 20. What is he doing? This little shit doing? One thing! I said that was the point I got about the engineering, the easiest assignment, which is the vibe you get from when he's given. So, Wesley, do you think you can fetch? Yes, sir, I can fetch. Good boy, go fetch. And he fails at fetching.
That's awful. Well, he fetched it. He just didn't know how to return it. See, there's a difference.
It's just half of fetch, so I think he fails.
Yes.
It was funny.
Oh, anyway. So they're on the bridge, and they want to talk to the people. So, like, can I establish visual communications? Yes, of course. We also find out that en route to Dialogue 4, they're going to be at Impulse till Geordi completes his adjustments. That's another thing that we learn. It's not like the... Oh, that comes in a second. Yeah, so she talks to them, make sure the quarters are adequate, and everything's fine. We see him on the view screen there. And then all of a sudden, we get a conversation. What the hell? That doesn't even make sense with my notes. Because I have the notes here that Troy's like, it's not likely. It's not like they. It's like they're hiding something.
Yeah, we had
it's not like they.
We had that before the call. We had that before the call.
Oh, was it? Yeah, it's
That's
not
why
like
they start the call, pretty much.
Okay. It's not like it's not who they say they are, but not what they say they are, is what she says. So.
And that was weird to me because. Oh, what?
Yeah. And then she asked him, "Who was that boy I met earlier on the view screen?" Yes.
It was nice to see Troy do something. Oh, I thought her information was incredibly cryptic and sort of unhelpful.
Yes.
And it's like the pattern buffers would have detected that. I mean, I don't know.
Yes.
It's odd. I mean, if they're on a fully genetic level, fine. But then how would she? I don't know. And then it's weird that Picard would know that Wesley was the one that she bumped into. I guess Riker had to tell her. It's like, you never guess what happened when I was taken onto the ship. Wesley appeared and he had a boner. It was great. But
they were all there.
Above that.
They were all there when she bumped into Wesley.
Was Picard there?
Yeah, and they had the conversation about be careful with that thing. It'll
he was okay.
iron out of your blood, and then they walked off and Riker stayed. So
I forgot.
Yeah,
Picard was there.
And then the rest of the conversation is they're talking about Data, and he's back on the bridge now, and he's just describing the Civil War, and he says the dispute is the difference between night and day, and Riker's like, "Oh, you said a colloquialism. Good job." He's like, "Did I? Oh, I actually just meant that it only rotates once per revolution, the planet. So one side is constantly dark and the other side is constantly light." So he was being literal, but I thought he was making it.
It was trying to be a sort of funny scene. Didn't quite work.
Yeah. Okay, so then we get down in the quarters again, and we got this other very attractive woman chatting with her, and I'm like, okay, I know this is obviously the other shapeshifter at this point. When I was younger, I probably would have been like, who is this? Like, was this somebody that was on the ship? Because there's families on the ship. But they're having a conversation. No one has even asked if this is something that I want. And the whole, it won't be as bad as you think. You're the last and only chance. So, yeah, just a brief conversation, and then she morphs back into the old lady, which is a bit of a shame.
And it's like a reveal, but it really isn't.
Yeah, I think this girl might have gone for the role of her, of Celia, and just didn't get cast. So they said, "Hey, we'll put you in this one."
She has too much charisma.
Maybe
They wanted a more blank slate, which would make sense if you've been alone with one person for how many years, and this isn't even your face. The other person has been a shapeshifter for a lot longer, knows how to be other people, so it emotes better. Is the vibe I got.
Yeah, and then she turns back into Wicket.
Yes. Although, guys, 75 people watching, only 35 likes, and only one super chat in half an hour, which is not great. And I don't know if this is a trend that's starting, because this channel might go down in flames, which isn't great. So, if you can,
like,
comments, questions, thoughts.
And if you can super chat, please do.
Yes.
Some days are just slower than others. It's fine. Other days are great. So
it's true. It's just if you have too many slow days in a row, then the channel will die. You can only survive so many slow days.
True.
But yeah, this is actually a fun scene, and it feels so unimportant in the sense of it's like, great, she's a girl, and I mean, it implies to me that she can, anytime that this lady needs something, a variant of a personality, so she wants just on her age to be a friend with, who you can relate to more, she'll be that. Or she's strict, and then she becomes a strict lady. Or she needs to be someone to hug, she becomes a furry thing. There's always different inclinations of what it might be. But then, this isn't a real form, so what would be she's only human in this moment because the crew's human. So it doesn't really work on that way. I guess you want to show us a pretty woman in a cool uniform, with a cool fabric and a cool slits out of it. So I was all for it. Or maybe, I should be giving her the birds and bees talk, but from a cool young perspective. Hey, I'm young too. Birds and bees, girl.
Could you imagine how many? Never mind. How much trouble and how many guys we could rock on this ship if we just wandered the halls together? Look at us. Damn.
And speaking of damn, what do you think of the Ewok, the furry Ewok that appeared? I mean, do you remember that as a reveal the first time you watched it? Do you have any thoughts this time around?
I actually didn't remember this exact scene. No, I thought she turned into the fiercer creature first. But I mean, it's kind of terrifying. I mean, as a kid who has a teddy bear and seeing this, I'd be mortified. So, yeah, it was fine.
It's quite Star Warsy.
Yes, it is.
But since we know what the lady looks like at the end, I'm thinking, did this? Are they meant to be the same creature?
I don't know about that.
Because she lives on the third moon.
Mm-hmm.
And they can both live in the same atmosphere. But this is sort of implied it's her main form. But I don't know. It's confusing.
It would make sense that it is. And she goes for the much fiercer form to take care of Worf and stuff. But Vincent Visions puts in $5. Thank you.
Vincent.
Have you heard about the Copa YouTube stuff? A lot of content creators like me are concerned about our channels if it goes through next year.
Yeah, because Vincent does some really cool My Little Pony, sci-fi, cool rendered stuff. It's really, really weirdly cool.
Yeah, we've heard about it. Hopefully it doesn't affect us too much, if at all. Is it kid stuff? I mean, it's for the FCC to decide. It's just the whole thing. They can come in and trample all over YouTube and just hand out shit as they feel is necessary. So it's kind of up in the air, but hopefully not. Fingers crossed. That's why it's important for you guys to support the channel by Patreon and super chats and things like that, because not only YouTube's on rocky footing right now as far as uncertainty. So the ad revenue's gone down a lot, and there's a whole bunch of uncertainty. So if you guys can help us out in other ways, please do so. Super chats and all that are very helpful.
It kind of shows how bad it was we all settled on one system for so many years, because this YouTube's getting worse and worse as a platform. I mean, every few months there's a problem that's hurting creators. Literally, it's kind of absurd, really. It's not, but I mean, it's the biggest platform out there in a way that it's so easy to access. People can enjoy anything. I mean, we love being on YouTube because anyone can view it anywhere pretty much, and we've had such a big library, this catalog. It's great to be, but in terms of adult content, I mean, we try not to swear, less so in lives, and less restrained lives because it's more.
Well, we want to swear so that kids are not kid friendly. It goes both ways. If you swear too much, you don't get ad revenue because they don't put ads on your videos. Because people don't. And if you don't swear and you're kid friendly, then you're kid friendly, so they don't want to put anything on there. And
But I
that's
think
just stupid.
it's more about kid specific content. But as people have said, it's like, well, a let's play of a kids game. It's like, well, it's just
Well,
it's a video game let's play, but it's a kids game, but it's not necessarily kids
exactly.
content.
But the FCC can just go, it looks like the game is for kids. You're fucked. Sorry for swearing, but I had to swear. And if you look at our channel analytics, 0 to 13-year-old is like 0.04%,
Yeah.
if that, which is just a number they throw in because also from 99 to whatever is the same number. So I doubt people are watching this at that age.
Yep.
But still, they don't take that into account. It's video specific. So if I talk about Transformers sometimes, or I talk about, I'm playing the new Star Wars game. We're getting off topic hugely.
Well, yeah, but that's all right.
But just if you can help us out in other ways, please do so. It's very important.
But I don't think it'll affect most average channels. It'll just affect those that are more. I mean, it'll kill kids channels, just completely destroy them. But we're not a kids channel. We're just a general channel. But I like this creature for the most part. It's a bit Star Warsy, adds more questions. It's not really a reveal. Like, again, I knew we kind of knew, but I like the seeds they were laying. But see, this next scene, I actually don't mind it. I think this is a better use of Wesley. Like, he acts it pretty well, and he adds a little bit of, not ad-lib, but he adds a little bit of those little seconds of, sorry, sir, sorry. I like this scene, actually. I wish I had more of this. Not this exact scene, but, showing him on this little journey. But with a sci-fi twist would have been fun, and seemed really, Geordie's great in this scene, saying, you can't do jack at this point. Get off work, mate. Your brain isn't straight. You're puberty. You can't think. Like, the interactions are what make these scenes really fun.
Yeah, I love how he's like, what's taking so long? Nothing. Fumble. There's something. There's a girl. Wow.
Yeah, it's great.
But she's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Oh, it happens to all of us. Clans erupting with hormones. Go, get out of here. Go talk to her. What should I say? I don't have time for this. Go ask someone else. Yeah, good scene. It is a good scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he has it on the wrong setting, and it sets off an alarm, and so I almost blew up the whole ship.
Yep.
Get the hell out of here.
Yep. I like it. It's actually, it is pretty good.
And then we get Worf screaming because he goes to him for advice. That's how Klingons lure a mate. What, you yell? No, the men do not yell. The women yell, and then they hurl heavy objects and claw at you. What do the men do? The men read love poetry and duck a lot. And then it's decided, he just says, you know what? Go to her door and beg like a human. It's like, wow. Thanks, Worf.
This chat is pure gold. This one in particular is just like pure gold.
I love the way Michael Dorn gets into it. He's like, yeah, he's fantasizing about that. And Data's like, what the hell?
Yep.
Looking over his shoulder.
Yeah, he's committing totally to this, and it's really fun. And it's genuinely instructive to the culture. And it's not in like a, feministy way. It's just like, yeah, this is an interesting reversal. Nothing you expect he's going to say is what he expects to hear. And how he responds to it is fun. And there's almost that sense now, because you know that Worf's never done anything with a Klingon. No, I guess he hasn't. Well, no, that's just, she's
Holodeck, probably.
Well, okay, sure. But it's not quite the same thing. But he's like, oh, there's that Klingon poetry. I wish I could do it with wish I could see a real Klingon lady. There's a fun with I'm so damn it. Females in this culture are so frail. Brittle is what it says in season 1. But it's fun. It's a really, really good scene.
And Data chimes in, and Wesley says, Data, I want to meet her. I don't want to dissect her. Because he's talking about the compatibility of their body types and then the cell membranes, and could be problematic. And and then
technically you're both fully compatible DNA and in and out bits.
And then Wesley heads for the turbo lift, and Picard gets off, and I half expected him to say,
yes,
I need advice.
Yes.
Because it's like a father figure. Doesn't say a word, just goes right by him.
Yeah.
I expected him to go to Picard at some point for advice, and Picard not know necessarily who he was talking about, give him advice, then Wesley go do that advice, and then Picard get pissed off because he's not supposed to be talking to her. Whatever. It could have worked. It didn't. There's still like the perfect opportunity for it. They were heading towards each other. It was like, ugh.
It's a very weird moment because there's an obvious knot. And I just want to finish your thought there for a second before you jump. Super chats. Yay. It feels like the moment where he should have said, "Oh, Captain, would you mind?" "Oh, yes, Wesley. Oh, quickly. So I've got this girl. My advice is don't." "Oh, yes, sir." Walks out. Like the most like cheeky little abrupt dialogue. Not in a mean way. It's like, not worth it, Wesley. Nope. And then that would have been great, that little abrupt thing.
Yeah.
Although you would think he'd be kind of scared to ask him, but also he has no knowledge. But it was an obvious missed moment.
Yeah, but we have some super chats because you guys are awesome. Ginkgo Yoki puts in $2.
Thank you.
Wesley was getting trilithium from the core. Okay.
It's going to explode.
Jeff Jacobs puts in $2.51. 50, nice. Again at 80. Ooh. Hashtag get the Wes episode out of the way, like.
It's not bad. It's not bad for him.
Well. Fleet Pass Swiftback puts in $4.99.
Thank you.
Klingons courting rituals, women roar and hurl heavy objects and claw at you. Yes, indeed they do.
So well said. Like, his acting is 10 out of 10 there.
Yeah.
This is, already you can see how much Michael Dorn, and he's not given much, really, this season so far. He's given, like, bits, but he is knocking them out of the park every single time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you kind of wonder what Tash would have done, and you imagine not a lot in the same situation. He's embracing every happy to have a paycheck moment.
Wesley, infatuation's like a drug.
And don't get raped.
Oh, good God. I wasn't even going to go. I didn't even think of that, but oh my God. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, no,
Jarzia.
no, hold on, one more. She's like, look, some men are fully functional. And Dave just says little, like, wait, hold on. There's a little look. It's like a cheeky little, he knows.
Yeah. Well, Jarzia puts in $5 Canadian. Hands down, the best scene in the episode in Blood Fever. They called back to this when Paris asked Torres if she's going to throw heavy objects at him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking that's quite an explicit, canonical, like, cultural thing. I don't know if that's always carried over. I don't know. It feels like something you can easily forget. It's such a throwaway scene, but it's quite important, like, the lore.
Well, and then Worf and Jadzia, they come into sickbay. What happened to you two? Oh, well.
It was fun.
Anyway. Ginkgo Yoki puts in another $2. Celia actress. Yeah, now she's a psychotherapist. Oh, wow.
Oh. Cool.
Yeah. But anyway, Picard asks if they have permission to go on viewer again, and they're like, oh, little teddy bear has to run away. And yes, Captain, we've arranged a tour of the ship for Anya. Would you like to attend? And she's like, I'd love to. And then, of course, she gets shot down again by Anya, who says, you must remain here where it is safe. Yeah, I think that's her true form, considering how often she's in it.
But that's why I was so thrown off by the ending of what the reveal is to what this other creature is. I was so thrown off by the real appearance. Like, that really got me, you know?
Well, this is a protector. It's a fierce animal. It's from the third moon. It's like if it's even a forest moon like Endor, probably. It's
way.
Maybe the third moon is Endor, for all we know. Maybe this is just a offshoot of the Ewoks. But yeah, and then, but that being said, if that's her true form, wouldn't she have a rough time on the planet that is inhospitable to like humanoid life?
Well, no, I would assume that she could, morph into something that could survive. I mean, she's that powerful. The implication is she's incredibly clever and powerful. But it's weird. It's weird for us these two alternate variant life forms that are clearly implied to be either the same, very similar, or the same damn abilities, I mean, it's not clear. It's not clear. But this is another repeat of the exact same scene. It's redundant. I don't get it, and why she thinks she'll suddenly let her walk around the ship. It's not
because she was going for a tour, Anya. So why can't the other girl take along? Because Anya's her protector, so Anya would be with her. Before it was like I wanted a tour of the ship, and she interjected because she thought it'd be like without her. So it kind of makes sense that she would ask again, but
you'd assume the first scene she just insisted to be on the tour. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean. There's very little difference. And no offense to TNG, I know this is probably the TNG season 2 bad remastered team because there's some really rocky stuff in this one in terms of remastering. This is not a well done remaster. This morph effect I think is reasonably badly done. I thought it looked dated as hell. I don't know about you. Yeah, it didn't hold up for me. It's like in the very first scene, sorry I forgot to mention, the very first scene has an amazing amount of grain in it.
Yeah.
It's really bad. It's really, really bad. It's kind of awful. It's the sort of thing that you throw on the cutting room floor because it's that bad, refilm it, sort of level. And some of the space shots in this are really badly done too. And considering they're the same goddamn plates, how have they made them look so much worse? Like, they're in the last, third, but this one this one was not refined anywhere as much as other ones. Like, it wasn't polished as much. I think about how good the Enterprise D looked like in last week's episode, even with the weird scale. It was beautiful. This one, it looks not good in a lot of shots. They've let themselves down in this one. Not good.
Well, they're focusing on the better episodes for their more talented people, I guess. This is for the interns. Here, you get this shitty episode.
Yep.
But yeah, then we get down in 10 forward. He's asking Riker for advice, and Riker's like, Guinan, come here. And then they have their whole back and forth about you have the most beautiful eyes, and it's such a great back and forth. I didn't write any of it down because it's just such a memorable scene. You don't have to. Wesley's like, I don't think this is really my style. Shut up, kid. And then tell me more about my eyes.
What's your actual takeaway from this scene? Like, what is the vibe you're getting? Ignore Wesley.
Just he's not actually hitting on Guinan, if that's what you're implying.
Well, I don't know.
No, he's just doing his Riker thing. This is how he gets chicks.
Which means he's hit. Well, yeah, but that's the point. I mean, at what point does a facade become reality? I mean, there's so much weird. To me, I got the sense that he starts it as a game, and I was enjoying playing word chess with Guinan, but that could very much end up in her saying, "Yeah, screw it, let's have sex." Like it's so seamless and so elegant. Like, you know what I mean? It's that level of, we're friends, let's just do it. Might as well. Like, it's so, it crosses that interesting line of, where does fun flirting stop at actual whatever? I think you're not meant to know the answer. I think it's a fun, nebulous, well, that was a hell of a flirt. Sort of. And it showed me he's a poet. I mean, this is why we think he was a womanizer, because he's poetrying her, Good stuff. Except his first line's awful. You're the most beautiful woman in the galaxy.
But we continue on with the tour of the ship, go to engineering, and she's like, what's happening? And I didn't know that the dilithium conduit chamber needed realignment and blah, blah, blah. And she gets all pissy with Geordi, and Geordi's like, it's just regular routine maintenance, chill.
It was 0.1% out. I want to fix it because we had time. Only 10 million of your people are going to die. It's fine.
And then Wesley strolls on up to the room, and the guard's like, can I help you, Ensign Crusher? Or whatever he says, Mr. Crusher.
Yeah.
And, no. And then the door opens. How convenient. And she wants help using the replicator, so...
Wow, chicka, wow,
and the poor guard is like, I'm getting shit for this.
I like that.
Just the look on his face. He's like, oh, damn. Or I wonder what's happening in there.
Yeah. Computer, deactivate bed spring filter. If you kids get busy, I'll hear. The doors won't work anymore. So, well, you jumped over those scenes a little bit, but that's fine. The engineering scenes feel so redundant. Like, it makes the character feel a lot less cruel and mean. Like, not cruel, but, like, just mean. Is it her saying that she can sort of, like, maybe... She's a shapeshifter. Maybe she can, like, sense individual people's abilities, like, skills, and like, be good at them? Because she can engineer as soon as she meets him. She can fight when she talks to Worf. She can be nice and sensitive when she talks to the lady when she's a teen girl person. It's like, what?
She's the one that's been teaching her for 16 years everything she needs to know. So all they have time to do with these two of them on this planet is study. That's one of the points that the other girl makes too. Is all I've been doing is studying everything. That's why she knew about the transporter and stuff. So
just feels kind of out of place. Like, this scene didn't mean anything. Didn't go anywhere. Didn't do anything. I like I said before, I kind of wish there was an implication of, oh, you're quaint technology. They say a few times, we're more advanced than you, we're stronger, whatever. And it would have been fun to just help them fix it like that. It's like, oh, basic. This is hundreds of years before, and we're like, oh wow, this is the best stuff you have in Trek, and they know more. But it doesn't quite go to that level. I was confused. You know, it was a weird non-scene. I don't know. It was weird. And then the guard. Why the hell did he let him in? Like, if there's a guard...
Well, his orders were not let her out. Nothing about letting people in. People go in and talk to her.
I mean, surely if she's going to get assassinated, then letting people in is a bad thing. I mean, if you can't let
Wesley,
her out... Well, well, there's shapeshifters. I mean, what do you want? I mean, another shapeshifter could have come on board.
He doesn't know that.
Well, he should be briefed. I mean, okay, they don't know yet, but I mean, yeah.
Exactly.
But really, should he let a teenage boy in with a teenage girl who's an alien ambassador who, like, he could mess up one thing? It's like, it's not appropriate. It's like, you know, it doesn't feel quite, you know, like you say, it feels a bit dodged. That at least he should ask. I don't know. Feels a bit weird.
Yeah.
Like, there should have been no guard there. He should have, like, walked around, worked up the courage to press a button to say, "Biddly, let in, can I come in?" And then she opens the door to, like, poke her head out, see if anyone's, like, anything happening. So, oh, hello. That would have been nice having a guard, I think. Kind of makes it seem more awkward, in my opinion.
But he shows her how to use the food replicator and makes her chocolate mousse.
Fancy chocolate mousse.
And then starts talking about where it was made, and she's like, "Have you been there?" And he's like, "Yes, we've been to so many places." And, "Hey, you can too." And then, yeah, there's the Enterprise.
Yep. Good summation.
I know.
I like that the beans have been roasted 400 or 200 years, and does that mean the replicator can replicate 200 years worth of roasting? Does that not mean that you could, like, replicate 1,000 years of roasting?
No. What he was saying was that on the planet, the real stuff is... This tastes like the real stuff, but the real stuff is made this way, 200 years.
But if you can make it taste the same, then you don't have to roast it for 200 years. You've now succeeded in creating without it.
Tastes the same-ish.
Yeah.
Like
vegan food.
I want to slap you, man.
Well, I don't.
Instant mashed potatoes taste similar to real mashed potatoes, but one tastes a little bit better.
But I feel like they would work really hard to make it taste identical. I'm kind of just meaning that if you could replicate that taste, it'd be interesting to experiment. Like, well, what would it be like if beans are done 400 years? Because why couldn't you roast it in? Why couldn't you computer algorithm roast it? Like, no, it's interesting, and that's one of the few times we've seen. That's one of the few times we've seen a replicator work. I just want to say, so far, they haven't even got the sound effect worked out properly, the VFX yet, because it's still been actually kind of new. Yeah. We get some Pulaski, your favorite.
Continuing our tour of the Enterprise, they go to sickbay for some unknown reason, and the dude is sick with some kind of fever flu thing, and it's not contagious. Well, it is contagious, but the filters, the biofilters, and blah blah blah. Anyways, the conclusion is, let's kill the patient. And Pulaski gets all on. What you? Legitimately so. And then Worf goes to step in, and he gets attacked by, looks like Chewbacca crossed with like a pit bull or something.
Yeah, the first one was a little person in a small costume. This is a very tall person in the costume, but you know, now the big version is kind of like you said, one's attack mode, one's cute mode. Hug me, Let me slash you. And then Worf grapples it like TOS, and it looks awkward as hell.
Yeah. And then I don't know how security gets there so fast, but security steps in with the captain.
Within 1 second, she's like, "Thank security." Door opens. Wow, that was quick. Why the hell are you here, Captain? Oh,
We were both on our way from the phaser range. We just were practicing together, like me and Riker were last week.
Yes. I mean, last month. You didn't see it last week on Star Trek. I mean, yeah.
But anyway, and more security come in right after that. And then I love how when she turns back to like Anya, Worf's like, he's gonna belt her one. It's like, whoa, chill out, man. Anyway, she gets confined to her quarters for the remainder of the voyage, and she has to stay in her present form as well. Captain's orders, so she's got to abide by them because she's Starfleet, I guess. But anyway, this is where we find out that she's... Oh, we find that out in a second, actually.
Well, I mean, what do you think of these scenes? I mean, what do you think?
I mean, they're all right. I don't know. It went from 0 to 100 like crazy fast. Let's kill the patient and all of a sudden transform. And actually, this is where we find out that she's an elastomorph that can alter their molecular structure into any other life form. So it's not just their appearance, like some other shapeshifters, I would assume. So.
Well, yeah, because I mean, a lot of them are like in a state of flux. Their DNA is always, there is no set shape. But this is like, I can just be this creature. It's like, there you go, done. So I mean, in terms of like a stealth creature, if you have the DNA of the other one, and you have none of your own DNA once you've shifted, that's the perfect secret agent. Seriously. But I actually quite liked this scene. Plassie's fun in how like straightforward she is. I love the reaction. So you instantly think, oh, the grumpy old lady and the grumpy old lady, they're gonna go on like a house on fire. Nope, opposite ends of the spectrum. And I just love the idea that she's like, oh, that's contagious. It is, but our air filters will make it not. And she's like, not good enough. And I was like, really? So they filter out every like base contagion with just the air? That's interesting. I didn't think that would be a thing. That's very clever air processes to filter out, like, oh, it is contagious, but it's fine. We filter our air that well. So, wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
This is when we get Worf have his one-to-one.
I love how Worf says, Captain, what if she transforms? Yeah. I love how, Captain, what if she transforms? Improvise. Like, thanks.
I will beat her even harder then, sir. Yes, exactly. But I love the power play here, because even though the lady's like, I am more powerful than you could ever imagine, he's like, shut up. You're on my ship. Shut the hell up. Do what I say. She's like, fine. Like, I love that. It's so, like, he does his job so well. I love it.
Is it just me, or do I look like an elastomorph on the broadcast? Because I'm all, like, pixely.
Oh, just for a few seconds.
Okay. Oh, but then they visit this.
Oh, Ryan Casey, that's probably sick bay specific, the air filters. Yes. Probably.
Yeah. But then Wesley and Anya, they visit this planet on the holodeck, and oh, it's so pretty, and oh, it's a great time to be alive. Only 19% of our galaxy's been explored, and imagine what else we're going to find. And then he shows you this other thing where they're standing on an asteroid, and the harmonics of the plasma storm, blah, blah, blah. Anyway.
This is the problem with Stuart reviewing this part of the episode, is that you don't like love stories, as we know you don't. So I'm sure you sort of tuned out a bit of these bits.
Well, there's nothing to say. It's like, oh, it's so beautiful. Yeah, we got that. All right, it's a good time to be alive. You can explore this too.
Yeah.
No, I can't. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
There's nothing to say.
Level.
Yeah, it's nothing has to do with Star Trek. It's just gushy stuff.
It would have been nice if they were actually like known locations to give us more fun, because they're reasonably nice. Although it's weird that this first one looks way more CGI. Like, I don't know if they lost the assets, because it doesn't look like miniature work. It looks like CGI work, and it looks like aged CGI work, which is confusing me, because they just build a miniature, but it doesn't look like a miniature. And then the second one, again, the rocks look very computerized. Some of them do, anyway. So it's kind of it looks like a dated effect, even though they like look at the things from PowerPoint. That effect looks modern because they remastered it beautifully. This looks weird. I know it's worse company, but it's weird.
Yeah. Ginkgo Yoki puts in $2.
Thanks.
Forget Wesley. Shut up, chaperone.
Yeah.
Then they escort her back to her quarters, and she's like, well, I can't protect her if I'm confined to my quarters. Do you protect this ship? You understand? I'm a protector. He's like, well, while she's on this ship, she's under my protection. Good back and forth between her and Worf, kind of building that respect. She even says, I'm stronger than you. You cannot control me. So
yeah, that's
a little bit of a threat there.
They got some legitimate chemistry, and you almost want them to be this weird like relationship kissy thing at the end, and have Michael Dorn kiss a much older woman because it's funny.
Yeah.
Although actually, wouldn't it be kind of nice actually if this transformer shapeshifter was more flexible in like who she was? If at the end she becomes a Klingon woman just to give him a kiss, just be like, Mr. Worf, I'll see you again soon. Transforms, punches him in the face, kisses him, and says, "I'll see you on the galaxy." Like, wouldn't that have been a great ending for those two?
Yes. If she transformed into a Klingon or something,
and just actually gives a massive black eye. He's on the bridge in the later scene with a black eye,
or whips something at him.
Yeah,
and he ducks. And he ducks and smiles.
Oh,
yes.
And he gets a breakaway vase in the face. He's like, like doesn't even dodge. Just like, and at the end is a black eye. Picard's like, Mr. Worf, where do you get the black eye? A female. Picard's like, oh, okay. They're trouble. Don't ask me about them. They're trouble. See, call back to the earlier scene with Picard telling Wesley they're trouble. See.
And AC Costello says, I swear they mentioned spending time sparring in the holodeck at the end. No, they say maybe one day we can fight together on the same side.
Yeah.
Because they've got respect for each other.
Yeah.
Because she's like, you're happy to see me go. And he's like, no. So
you're an honourable, valid foe. Yeah. They build this nice almost chemistry, but I think that would have really like amped it up.
And Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in $1.99 and says, good scene here. Yes.
And Ian Warrender sends $5 Canadian via the PayPal. Hi guys, sorry it's not more. This is for today's live.
Thank you. Who was that?
Ian Warrender, the classic Mr. Warrender.
Thank you, Ian.
As we say, 100 ones is just as good. It all makes a difference. So thank you.
100 ones is the same as a 100. It's all the same. It all helps. Thank you.
Yeah.
We have over 54,000 subscribers. If they all gave $1, I'd be happy.
Yes.
Every month. Eugene, though, shows up. I haven't seen Eugene in a while. Puts in 5,000 rubles. So thank you very much, Eugene.
Which is, Jesus Christ. That's that makes the super chat very successful. That's $80.
Wow. Thank you. Long time no see. Exactly what I just said. This episode name is one of my favorites from season 2. The name is a bit weird. It was translated to The Prince the first time I watched it. Oh, The Prince. Interesting. Huh. Is right. Well, thank you, Eugene. Glad to see you again. I don't know where you've been, but I hope you're okay.
And Eugene, have you been still watching the lives? I mean, obviously they are here to enjoy after the fact. Hope you've been enjoying. And Best of Both Worlds, Measure of Man was good. We had a fun one there. And Eugene, thanks for saving the live. You're awesome, man. You're awesome. And two other things. Lee B says they fixed the horrible morphing before. It was jerky and manually done. The remaster used smooth morphing.
Yeah.
And Chris Cunningham, who I know, from my understanding, they intentionally made the effects in season 2 essentially just higher resolution of the original VFX shots, which looks atrocious in HD. Yes, that's one thing that I was very amazed with in season 1. The planets looked gorgeous. They were like, wow. And then season 2, they're like, oh.
Yeah, but then season 3, it'll be like, again.
Yes.
So it's fine.
Yeah, it is weird. It's weird.
Dauphin equals the eldest son of the King of France. So there you go. So Prince fits well as translation.
I thought Dauphin meant a sort of like au pair. You know, someone looks after somebody. That's what I thought Dauphin meant.
Mm.
The title is like, it's someone who looks after someone important.
That's kind of what I thought too.
Yeah.
But
then you get Troy and Picard.
yes.
And then it's really just about the lady saying, "Excuse me, Captain Picard, she's not where she's supposed to be." Oh, sorry about that. That's it.
Well, yeah. He before that, he makes the analogy that the most danger that this person is like a mother to her, and the most dangerous animal is a mother protecting her child. So we got to make sure that she's, safe, and that the other one can't escape because they're crazy. But yeah, then she's not where she's supposed to be.
Because she's on a date, still on a date.
Yes, we get the conversation between her and Wesley in 10 Forward, where she says basically isolation is awaits me on Dialogue 4. And Wesley's like, and planting those seeds of, contention. You could stay on the Enterprise? Sure, why not? And then they have a little bit of a disagreement, and she takes off. And then Guinan is, of course, there to, just because a girl rushed out doesn't mean she doesn't want you to follow.
Yes. And this scene I found kind of odd. It's kind of nice. And I love the use of the set. But Wesley is a smarter person. I know hormones and stuff, but he's smarter than to ask the woman who's going to stop a massive interplanetary war to just, nah, lol, JK. He's smarter than that. I feel like, it didn't feel like in character. I know he's meant to be off kilter a bit, but she's real important. He's basically saying, let these two people kill each other, it's fine. It's like, no, he wouldn't say that, I don't think. He would say other things, like maybe maybe.
Well, he's not.
I don't know.
He's not thinking with his head. He's thinking with his glands.
I know, but it just feels out of character. He's meant to be a smart kid. And then the runoff's fine, although she's very yelly. She's very oh. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh, and I love how Picard and Anya find them, and just the look on Picard's face, like, the hell, man. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have to say anything.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. His look.
It's just that, and Anya gives him that look over the shoulder as they're leaving too.
Yep.
Wesley's like, I didn't do any. What? I'm just gonna hide here against the wall because I'm camouflaged.
Yeah, but he's thinking,
maybe the captain won't see me.
No, he's thinking, Wesley, you know what you did. It's good, yeah. It's good Patrick.
That's why it would have been better if he had given him advice earlier, and Wesley was just doing that advice. And now this scene happens, and Picard's like, "Oh shit, I'm responsible for this, for giving him this advice."
Oh yes. Well then, he swapped a few things around. Have him bump into her on the tour, so Picard didn't know who he bumped into, and then it dolls back. That would have been fun. Yeah. Like your mother would not be proud of you for endangering the life of an entire race. Picard, I love her. She's my love. Shut up, Wesley. Perfect.
We need more shut up Wesleys. Next scene, Warp is back online. So get us there as quickly as possible, number one. Take us to Warp 8.8. I know the ship can go faster than that, but hey, at least that's the thing. And at that speed, it's going to be 3 hours and 9 minutes. So
to be fair though, that is a safe cruising speed. I mean, 9 is the highest cruise. I mean, that is pretty high for them for a sustained voyage. That is a genuine get there as quick as we can. Isn't 7 cruising for the D, or is it 6 still?
I believe it's 7 actually.
Yeah.
I'd have to double check, but this scene with Riker and Picard in the bridge, though, it looks very grainy to me as well.
Yeah, all the bridge stuff, like these long shots, aren't done well. And do you think? I know this is probably just how things work, but it felt odd that Picard asks, "Geordie, can we go to warp?" "Yes, we can." Turns to Riker, says, "Get us out of here."
Yeah.
And then he orders the front person. It's like,
I know.
Why did you? And then nods at Picard. It's like, why is everyone making this complicated? Why are all the steps here?
Chain of command. I don't know. I thought the same thing. And then I thought of, while I was watching the scene afterwards, I'm like, so Riker, when he becomes a captain, is going to tell his number one to do the thing because it's just the way it works. I don't know. it happens quite often where he tells Riker to do something and then Riker just does it on the bridge. The captain's just there to sit there.
Because
That's one thing I hate about. Yeah, that's one thing I hate about bridge crew as a captain. You sit there, pull out your pad with your objectives, and go, "All right, you do this, you do this, you do this," and I just sit there and watch everything. It's like this is really not exciting at this point.
You're in command. As we say, most of the time is spent at warp, where the commanding is very limited. Forwards! See you in 20 hours. Yes, sir! But it reminds me of two things. First, of the Galaxy quest, where the Sigourney Weaver's character is just there to repeat the computer. And Riker, in this moment, is just there to make it, because Picard can't talk to the lowly ensigns. F them. Only Riker, the lower rank, can. Is the vibe you get. It's quite weird. And the second thing I actually forgot, but it's to give Riker something to do. Like, it just feels so redundant. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Whereas you cut to Janeway, if she's on the bridge of Voyager, she's giving every order. Like, Chakotay does nothing. Chakotay is not there to be the... Like, Chakotay either gives his own orders because he has his own free will, or isn't involved in the decision-making process because she's doing the orders. This is a weird dynamic that... and obviously the same with, like, Kirk. And imagine, right, if Kirk turns to Spock and says, "Spock, please order Sulu to go to warp. Mr. Sulu, please go to warp."
That's exactly what happened, because William Shatner and George Takei hate
That's
each other.
why I said it. Hey, you got it. You got it. Well, sir.
Like, pass him this note.
Mr. Spock, could you please tell that pompous ass that you're going to go warp 4? Captain. Oh, I heard, Mr. Spock. Well, that would have been great. That would have been brilliant. That should have been like a reunion special before anyone passed away, where they all hate each other. But they film it in a way that they only have to talk to them they like the less. Like the retirement years.
It could work in like a Family Guy episode or something.
Yeah.
It's a satire piece. But
yeah.
Ginkgo Yoki puts in $2.
Thank you.
Where Wesley is 0 for 2. I know, but at least he had Celia and Ensign Leffler, because they're both cuties.
Yeah, Leffler's fun. But I mean, Wesley couldn't get a break. It was a bit too easy.
Yeah. But then Picard gets up, goes to his ready room, and says, "Ensign Crusher, when you're done with your duties, report to my ready room." Somebody's gonna get in trouble.
Your dad is not happy with you, you little brat.
Anyway, he tells him that Anya is a shapeshifter, and he wants Wesley to stay away from Celia for the safety of the ship and everyone on board. And he's like, "I'll obey your wishes, sir." So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good, decent scene. All the compositing of the Picard with the views. I like when they show stuff. His window is great, but it looks, especially in the Blu-ray and big screen, the black levels are all wrong. It's not a polished scene that it looks like it did at the time, but the remaster is there to fix and remaster, not have the same level of not polish, which is a shame because it's a cool idea but not well done. Back to their rooms, and this scene is just about, you can't see him, bad things, he'll corrupt you, blah 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 blah.
You gotta do what you're destined to do.
Same scene again, Stuart.
Yep.
I don't know if you felt...
That's for the stupid people in the audience that aren't paying attention.
Well, they're not giving her any more. Yeah, it's a non-nuanced storyline. I always find it odd, and this is the thing you have to do in stories. But in the first scene, when she's talking to the teenage shapeshifter lady version, she's re-explaining. I've got a problem with my future. I don't know what to do. It's like, you would think she'd bring that up over the last 16 years. Why is she only bringing it up now? They've had this conversation, hundreds of times over the last 15 years? But we've got to say it for the audience. It's always amazing when it's like, "Oh, I've never told you this, but I hate eggplant. But I've said you eggplant for 21 years. I know, but now the camera's on me. I need to let it be known." It's like, this scene feels like that a bit more as well. It's like, yep, just for the audience. You've had this conversation before. Yeah. She knows her responsibility. Why you mention it again? You mentioned it yesterday and the day before.
But we get to the planet, and we find out it has an almost identical atmosphere to the one they just picked them up on, with a messed up troposphere. And Riker says, "How can anyone exist in an environment so hostile to human life?" because not everyone's human. Um, I don't know, just a quick scene, but I gotta give them props for a new Helms lady as well. It's nice to see.
And this is one of those space shots that lets it down. The way that Enterprise is lit is they haven't done a color grade pass. I mean, look how flat the Enterprise saucer is. It's really bad. It's really bad, and the blue is way too much. They've completely done this wrong. It's not good. It's not good. And
But then what?
Oh,
go ahead.
Well, you already mentioned the. We already mentioned the super special power source thing.
Oh, that comes up later. That's not yet.
Oh, is it later? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
trust me. So next scene, he's playing Battleship chess, whatever that is.
Yep, that was on my next Battleship chess exactly. It is kind of cool actually.
Yeah.
Such a random one-off prop. Like I've never seen it before.
I wonder who was moving the pieces on the other side. Does the computer like move them, or does it replicate the piece where it needs to be? I don't know. Could have been so cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, she wanders out while Anya was sleeping. Anyway, so Wesley is not really at fault because he didn't go after her, but still. Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't turn out well because she finds them, even though they have their first kiss. Dun dun dun. I don't want to glaze any of this over. They have their first kiss, and it's lovely, and yay. And then anyway, she comes in and turns into this thing, and Wesley gets all scared.
Yeah.
And then Celia transforms into
a thing.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they do not do anything.
No. And they transform back.
It's like, cool. Yeah, my note was monster fight, and the note straight after was, oh wait, no, never mind.
Yeah, it was just a reveal for Wesley to show that not only was Anya a shapeshifter, but so was... There's Lance. Dun, dun, dun. See, Lance has a notorious habit of showing up during my bridge cruise. Every time something bad happens, he always writes dun, dun, dun. So it's become like an ongoing joke. It's like our background music. Dun, dun, dun.
Nice.
Well, thank you, Lance, for showing up for this. It's awesome.
Welcome. I'll give the actors credit in this scene. I actually felt a little bit of chemistry between the actors in this kiss scene. Like, just a bit. This was this is where the build felt appropriate. Although she basically went in knowing she was going to kiss him, and she probably would have done more if the other one hadn't appeared. Like, she was, like, going after an experience. Wesley was just there to enjoy it.
Enjoy the experience.
Enjoy whatever she gave him, basically. But this should have been halfway through the episode. Like, and more stuff after this, you know? Develop it further.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they were in bed? I mean, it's not really, not like it's an 18 thing, but then she sort of shapeshifts. It's like, oh, I've always loved blondes. Or, like, there could have been cool stuff there. I've always wanted to be the Klingon. A Klingon male. Yes, there is too. What? No, I don't know.
No, there's not.
No, there isn't. And the cut to the creature is so awkward. Like, she's just there. It's like, oh, hello. But they do say in a minute later, they had to put a force field up on their door because their doors can't keep it. They go so small. So I like that. That's actually kind of nice. It's like, I can become a one micro amoeba that can get through doors. Yay for me. But it's a very abrupt, badly edited fight. Because there isn't a fight. And it's like, why even burn the money on this expensive costume that looks a bit meh to then undo in the second shot? It's not. Yeah. It's not clever. It's not well done.
They probably thought it was going to be more used more, and then it didn't look good on screen, so they decided to not so much use it. That's probably what happened. Would be my guess. But yeah, putting up the force fields so they contain them no matter how small they can become is an awesome idea.
Yeah.
And then we find out it's a terawatt signal. That's more energy than our entire starship can generate. But it's what's required. But it's what's required to penetrate the atmosphere. We lack the ability to respond, sir. But there are beam down. And that's when I thought, how are you going to transport down if you can't even communicate Transporting is a much more complicated process, and there are probably lives at stake. Just saying.
Yeah, it's a lack of thought, this whole bit. It's a shame. It sounds great, and I do like the fact that it implies they're a more advanced species. That's cool.
Send a shuttle. Send a shuttle. Have Wesley pilot it so you can say goodbye to her.
I mean, do you really think the shuttle's shields can take it? I kind of got the sense it was pretty effing dangerous.
Better than a transporter beam. I'd rather risk my life in a shuttle flying through a storm than being transported through one.
Yeah, one stray lightning bolt, demolecular. Yeah, no, it's true. They really don't have any sort of sense of, oh no, this will be a problem. They're like, oh no, beam them down. It's like, okay. Yeah, it's weird, but whatever. It means nothing. It says nothing. It does nothing. Moving on. You know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Then we see the force field deactivate. On the door, Worf goes in and says, "We're ready." And they have their little conversation where she finds out that she's actually not going with her. And she says, "No, my duty's been complete. I would not have harmed the boy. I only wanted to frighten him. I know." And then she says, "The third moon is within the range of this ship's transporter. I will go there. That's where I grew up. That's my home." And I'm like, anything is in this range of this ship's transporter because it's a ship and it can move. But I don't know, it's just a stupid line. So it's a nice goodbye scene. She actually smiles. She doesn't look like a miserable old hag, so it's nice.
Yeah, this scene really helps the character. It put stops it on the head. And it kind of makes you realize the issues being so hard on you up to the moment that she didn't have to be anymore because that was the job. You can't be a spoiled brat, otherwise you'll be bad for this culture. So I had to be as hard as possible, almost, to teach you discipline. And even if you had to hate me, you had to hate me, because now you'll hear. It's that classic thing. You'll understand why when you're older. It's why you got to discipline children.
It's like being a parent. You as a parent, you don't want to be your kid's friend. You want to be their parent until they're older. Then you can be their friend. Because you've already raised them properly. Exactly.
Yeah, kids can't be given the snack they want every time, otherwise they'll learn wrong lessons. Otherwise, you've got to give them crappy food they don't want, without the TV they don't want, in the room they don't want to be in, well, they're too cold. Because it teaches them a lesson. You can't give a kid everything they want every time as being a terrible parent. And just person, really. I wouldn't, this is part of why the Trek universe is so odd, that these people can be on Earth with no, there's no rent, there's no food bills, there's no lack of food, there's no lack of communication, there's no lack of space. You can have anything you want. So what is the meaning of life? It's about learning, discovery. If I ever won the lottery, I would still want to have a 9-to-5 job, maybe like a 10-to-3, but I'd still have a job. I'd spend the job money on real life and have the millions of the savings. I wouldn't want to be this jet setter. My purpose would be in doing the work. I just might buy a render farm so I can do it quicker. But I'd still have to enjoy the challenge of doing the work, lessons learned. But yeah. And I guess in this moment,
this nice back and.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, in this last moment, the lady's like, "Oh yeah, I'm ready now." It's like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Good, perfect timing.
Yeah. Seriously.
Then we get the nice back and forth between Anya and Worf. And she's like, "You're happy to see me leave?" He's like, "Not at all. You were a formidable opponent. Maybe one day we can fight together on the same side." And Worf says, "I would be honored." So they've got this respect. So even though I don't think it's earned, really, but that's okay.
No, it would have been great. Again, have it be a Klingon in 2 scenes. Now I'm picturing again. Have Worf be the one that just see. Okay, I just saved it. Right, there you go. Have Worf distract this lady. She hasn't talked to anyone in 16 years either. Have Worf distract her as being an honourable opponent, and then Wesley can then meet up with the lady, with the girl, and then you have her be. Imagine if Worf's on the bridge one time, or maybe he's walking through the corridor, and he turns a corner. Picture this, Stuart, and a Klingon warrior woman is just standing there, and he's like, "What?" And she starts up to him with a really bit of swagger and is like, "Hello, Mr. Worf. I want to meet you in the holodeck right now. I've just got off duty." "Yes, I know. Let's have a game." "What sort of game?" "First blood wins." "My sort of game." and then you cut to them leaving after Wesley. Wesley has his date, and you cut to them walking out of a holodeck, and like his whole face is like absolutely just destroyed, and she's like fine, or she's got a bruise and it just heals because she's a shapeshifter, or she goes into a other stage. She's like, that was fun. He's like, yes, it was. And he's just absolutely just drenched in blood. Like, can you imagine the chemistry those like that scene would have given? Like that would have that would have been great, and then the scene would have been earned, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it! So little to change, you know. And Dawn would have loved that. Dawn would have absolutely adored that as well.
Yeah.
See, not just Discovery needs some tweaks to really like up it a level, but it is hindsight. Hindsight and limited budget.
Yeah. Then we get the scene that I don't really like. She comes in to say she's leaving, and he's like, "Was it fun to play humanoid? What are you really?" She says, "Does it matter?" "Yes." "Can you even love me?" "Yes, oh yes." Blah blah blah. She says, "The person I am right now is what I am. You know, this form." So, anyway, he tells her to please go because he's gonna be whiny and pouty. I don't know. If it was too quick. Like you said, if the reveal of her being a shapeshifter would have happened halfway through the episode and they had half an episode to settle this, then it might have been a little bit more realistic. But it's like, no, I hate you, go away. And then a second later, he's in the transporter room going, "Hey, hi, bye."
Yeah, that was especially bad.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was realistic enough because I've been that age. I've been hurt, and I might act the same way in certain situations. A little bit like, yeah.
And look, loving a shapeshifter is a bitch. You know, sometimes it really is. You know, we've all been there.
We have.
This thing I found odd because the energy levels of the actors are so different. His motivation is, I'm not engaging. She's like, "Hey, I love you." Like the energy is very odd. And then he says, "Oh, I loved you." I love you. She's not getting his vibes at all, and it's like, no, you don't. This is not at all appropriate. Like, you know, he just said, "I felt real feelings for you." It's like, I did too. Not love. Love was a dumb word. That was inappropriate. Like, it didn't build to that. It built to something, not that. I know he's a kid, not in love, but they haven't got there yet, and it didn't feel right. Or I like that she can't read his face because she's not human. She doesn't know how to read people. That's fun. I like that. And then his lack of... She still have the whole time. He just doesn't respond. And she's like, "I guess I'll go then. You dick!" But in her face. And I think I like his... It matters what you are. Because it says that we aren't just able to love everything. Because we are still people. At the end of the day, people have preference. And people have, cultural community. You can't just love everything. That's not possible. Shouldn't be possible, and now it could just be the facade of she's playing with him as an experiment. If she's not human, like I said, maybe she came down to human form just to see what being with a man felt like in human. So why would it be worth anything to him? My first kiss was with a shapeshifter. It wasn't even that's got to do something to your brain. So it's a weirdly played scene, but I kind of get it. But it wasn't quite earned. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love how she says, "Let's not say goodbye like this." And he's like, "Just please go."
Yeah, great.
Anyway.
Oh, and this terrible Enterprise D shot looks awful. They haven't saturated it properly. It's wrongly contrasted. Just awful. Like this shot looks great. 180 other times it's reused, but in this one looks bad. Don't get it.
It's the reflection off the third moon
of not Endor. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So in the transporter room, she's getting ready.
Bye, Donnie.
Bye, Donnie.
See you next time. She's
getting ready to beam out, and Wesley shows up, and he brought her some chocolate mousse. He says, "A taste to remember me by." So, and then she wants him to leave because she's got to turn into a true form before she can be transported. and he decides to stay. Because she's beaming down to meet the people of the planet. She doesn't want to show up as a human.
No, I was making a face at the thing you were gonna say, which is then she becomes an alien energy life form. So I was pre-ing.
Oh. So yeah, then her true form is revealed, and he's just like,
and I jizz in my pants.
It's not that amazing, but okay, you stare at it like that. Go ahead. Maybe it's more beautiful in person than it is on television because the shitty remastering ruined it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like an Organian.
But he gives the order
second cousin.
Yeah, he gives the order to energize, and down she goes.
Two quick thoughts. I at least he did say bye, but again, this should have been like several scenes after. And one of the worst lines, one of those most cringy lines, he holds up the moose like, I just wanted you to taste me before you, a taste, a reminder, what was the line?
And she dips, a taste to remember me by.
Yeah.
And she dips her finger in and does this for twice in this episode.
A taste to remember me by. That feels so inappropriate. Like, It just feels naughty. And they're tone deaf.
Good thing it didn't have whipped cream on top.
Or a cherry that she then eats, pulls out the stalk and gives it back to him, and it's in the shape of a love heart.
Nodded. Yeah.
And I was absolutely thrown. I thought she was going to be a creature in makeup for this reveal. I was completely floored that she's an energy life form. I was like, what?
It makes sense for living on a planet like that, is what they were getting at.
Yes, it does. But I mean, so could... I mean, any other... a creature that's evolved within the planet doesn't have to be energy. It really changes the paradigm of the entire episode, I think. But it's like, okay, weird. I had one more thought. Oh yeah. She says, "Oh, I'm so powerful, I'm so amazing, you won't even be able to think about it. Imagine it. It's like you're just a glowy yellow, purple thing." It's I was expecting not to see it. We got Wesley's reaction shot. I was like, okay, we're not gonna see it. It's gonna be one of those like, oh, it's so unbelievable, we can't see it. Look. But then we do. It's like, oh, weird. And yeah, beams down. Another lackluster TNG shot, and we get such a wonderful everyone's on a date shot. The pad we turn forward, it's all like couples, and it's not quite explicit, but the vibe is so like young couples. It's like, oh, kicking with the nuts. I love it.
Mm-hmm. And he goes on to say, it was like seeing pure light. I miss her. I feel empty. There will come a time that all you'll remember is the love. I'll never feel this way about anyone else. You're right. It'll be different every time. The end.
I like her lines about, we ever get over it, we ever feel this way again, we'll know. Every love is different. That's nice. There's a reason they say she's wise. Because she's wise. And he leaves, and there you go. Kind of just ends, really.
Yeah, but it was a better, less rushed ending than a lot of them have been.
100%.
So I have no problem with that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's no real resolution with the planet. The meat of the story. There's no meat in the story. It's all about the ancillary elements of the story, which is why I said I won't reiterate it again. But the balance was wrong here to really make it shine. And I already told you how we could fix it with having give Worf the one half of the subplot and then Wesley the other half, and it helps separate them so you don't get the same scene 4 times of no, you can't go do anything. Say it once. And then they're busy, because she loves Worf all of a sudden. But there you go, Stuart. Now is your chance to super chat your review scores, as Stuart gives us his. But please put in your review score, as we always say, a out of 10 for all of TNG and of season 2. And any thoughts, comments, we'd love to read as well about your thoughts on this episode. Stuart, you're now full final review, and do you have any different feelings now you've rewatched it in the Trekyards way, as opposed to the original normal ways you watch it?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No different feelings. It's the same kind of vibe I got the first couple times I watched it. Okay. That being said, I wanted to mention something to you. Instead of the thumbnail at the end, we should focus on like the screenshot I get of the title every time, because it's a better shot. It's the Enterprise. Anyway, you can do that if you want. If you don't want to, that's fine too. Anyway, interesting episode, but not super great. Kind of mediocre, middle of the road. Um, yeah, there's only one scene I didn't really remember happening. So it's ultimately forgettable, but
Well, despite
it does kind of
memorable,
stick with you at the same time.
yeah, it's
Yeah, it's kind of a weird mix of both. I don't know. I'm just saying.
this episode confuses you, Stuart.
I don't know. It does. It does. And I can relate to it on a few different levels. But at the same time, it's like I don't need to watch it again, but I will. I mean, just because it's Star Trek, but I don't need to. You know, it doesn't have that rewatchability factor for me that I really take into account when I do these.
It doesn't bring much to the party.
You want to say something?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. As for my scores, I mean, for season 2, this has got to be a 4.5.
Okay.
It's
I
a good
should probably
score.
get that.
For all of,
shouldn't I? Darn. Okay, hold on.
yeah.
Where is it? Okay, 1 second. What's it called? Dauphin.
A Dauphin.
Okay, for all of... Okay, go.
For all TNG... No, for season 2...
Yes.
4.5.
Okay.
For all of Star Trek, or for all TNG, I'm going to give it a... I want to say a 3. Yeah, I'm going to go with 3. I don't think it's deserving of a 2.5. It's not that bad. I mean, it's...
I don't think it's bad at all.
Fairly well written.
Like, it's not bad. Like, not even the Wesley stuff is bad. It's just... It's a missed potential episode. It could have been better. It should have been better. And because it misses those beats, it's just okay. And, like you've often said, this could be in many franchises. There's nothing uniquely Trek about it. It could be a Stargate episode, a Farscape, a really weird Battlestar Galactica episode. You know, it doesn't need to be... It could be Star Wars. It even has some Star Wars makeup. There's nothing really Trek about it.
But it's very much sci-fi because of the shape-shifting aspect of it. It's not like it's something you can really relate to, like the Shakespearean story necessarily.
No.
Just that they're different clan or something that would fall in, but...
The problem is we don't go into why... Like, we don't go into the dynamic of can you date a shapeshifter? Like, that would have been the sci-fi element. Like, more so, it's sort of just shrugged off at the end. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah. It would have been nice if there was more Federation politics-y stuff. Like, you know, or linking these alien beings to some great, like, if they're Organians, like an offshoot of Organians, or, you know, some sort of cool Trek link that would make it more Trek themed rather than just, like I say, just sci-fi themed. Well, I have interest then, because this one is more on the par of season 1. What do you think you would have given this for season 1 of TNG, if this was in season 1?
Well, this one for season 1 for TNG would probably get a 6.
Okay.
6.5. It's above average for season 1 for sure. But considering the scale we've had for season 2 with Child being at the bottom and like Measure of a Man and whatever being at the top,
yeah,
I got to weigh that in closer to the bottom of that scale. So
yeah, and DGR Blue 4 says worse or better than the Royale, Stuart?
I have a sick fascination with the Royale. It's a guilty pleasure a little bit, so I'm gonna have to say this is worse. It's better as a standalone piece of television than the Royale, but as a Star Trek fan, I like the Royale just a little bit better, just because of some aspects. So,
dude, I agree. I actually like the Royale. I don't know why people bitch about it. I like the Royale.
I know why they bitch about it, but I rather enjoy it. It's a guilty pleasure for sure.
Yeah, so do you want to read the super chats and I'll say my review?
Yes. Let's see. Ginkgo Yoki puts in $2. 4 out of 10 for season 2. 3 out of 10 for all of TNG. 5-ish out of 10 for season 1. Jarazia puts in $2 and says 2.5 out of 10 for TNG. 4 out of 10 for season 2. Dull and forgettable. And then Fleet Boss Whipback puts in $1.99 and says 4 out of 10 for season 2, 3 out of 10 for TNG. Klingon Cordian gets 10 out of 10 claws. Dun dun dun. Oh, sorry, that's Lance.
And do you read Eugene's review?
Eugene
gives it an 8 out of 10. So he's probably the highest of there. Cool for Eugene. He's very fond of this episode, doesn't grade really slow. He's very fond of this episode, doesn't expect to be graded so low by people.
5 out of 10.
Yeah.
2 out of 10 from Dan23.
Although Ozzy Modos says 10, so he gives it a 10 out of 10.
Wow.
Okay, so for me, this one has a lot of potential. It's not bad. It is on the average end of TNG for sure. I think this is Wesley doing pretty good. For the most part, I don't think he's annoying in this episode. I think he straddles that line quite well. The actors all do reasonably good, but again, it's just a missed opportunity. It could have been brought to really something kind of cool, a next level. This also screams to me of a low budget one. Like, this is one of those we're gonna do something a bit cheap. Maybe they even found or reuse those, alien costumes. You know what I mean? Some level of we'll just reutilize from another film that's on the lot. We'll just add different eyes to it. For me, score wise, season 2 is very good so far. Or at least doing pretty well so far. Some that we like more than the average people. But I mean, I'm going through the list. Elementary Data is really good. Rescience Least we both liked. Register Kuda we both liked more, I think. This one, I am gonna give. I was gonna say average 5 out of 10, but I think I have to agree with you for season 2. It's just below average for season 2. I think it's just below average. It doesn't quite do enough, All TNG, I'm gonna go. So I don't want to do the same as you again, but do I have to? Your scores are very reasonable.
If you have to, you have to.
Yeah, 3. It's lowest third, but not in the bottom tier. This is an episode that you wouldn't show anybody on purpose, but it's like adds to the vibe of the show. I think season 1. I think this is probably a 7 for season 1 for me. It's better. It's quite cohesive compared to season 1.
I just hate that a lot of times we complain about padding. This one had it just in repeated scenes, like you said, the one scene that was repeated like 4 times.
Yeah, but it didn't.
This is your duty. This is your destiny.
But it really didn't feel like padding. It was weird. I guess they slot in at right places. Just feel like the natural flow, even if the flow itself was to repeat.
Exactly. Yes.
So that was a weird thing. But one of the things we didn't get is good padding, which is like good character moment padding, except with the Worf and the Riker moment. Those were really good, but they weren't padding. I just wish we got more good, Picard and stuff.
Yeah. And there's some arguing going on in the chat about the Inner Light and how some people aren't a huge fan of it. I am on that boat as well. I like the Inner Light. It's a great piece of storytelling, script writing. It's a fantastic episode, but not of Star Trek. For Star Trek, for me, it feels very boring. There's not enough Star Trek in it. It's bookended by Star Trek. It's a good story bookended by Star Trek plot. Same with The City on the Edge of Forever.
Well, that one more is Star Trek because it's very character focused. It's very Kirk and Spock. You know what I mean? At least we get really good characters moments from them.
That's true. And McCoy as well.
I mean, it's like Star Trek, the whale one. It's not Star Trek-y, but in the sense of it's just you know what I mean. You could argue that by the same logic. It could be anything, but because all the characters get really well serviced, it's a good I think Inner Light. Is good. It's not really a rewatch one. I feel like once I see it once, I've seen it. Well,
it's like you're watching an episode of another sci-fi show of this where Picard's an old man on a planet that's going to, die because whatever, and he's got to as a family. It just feels like another show bookended by Star Trek. But we're gonna get to that when we get to that one. That'll be a good conversation. But I think that's like season 6, season 5, season 6, something like that.
It's not one I would ever really go back and like enjoy for enjoy's sake. Signature Refer, I think you would go back and enjoy for enjoy's sake. Wouldn't necessarily call that one. Yeah, I mean,
Brian Kesterson says, Captain Commander, I enjoyed the cute girl more in this episode back when it came out. Overall, I enjoyed the live stream tonight more than the original episode. Trekyards 9 out of 10. Thank you.
We're very happy to hear that. Thank you.
And Ginkgo Yoki, another $2.
Thank you.
Imagine Worf in the Chaperone fight. TOS fight music. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, I think it's right. I mean, the amount of like there was that wrestling moment which felt like TOS, but absolutely that would have been great. Like I said, go back in time, suggest my changes. Have version 2. You know, I know I've told this to you before a couple of times, Stuart, but what I would do with time travel would be one of the first things would be take my current camera, go back in time, and film a new TOS episode. You know, with with a new camera. You know, pay some great. You know, pay the studio, right. You know, call up Desilu, say, hey, Desilu, here's here's $400,000 their money. I want to film on your lot for one day. They were like, oh shit, okay, that'll fund an episode. And I just say, right, William T. Kirk, you know, do this script, film it on my DSLR, whatever, do it in 4K, and then release it and be like, oh my god, there's unseen footage of William Shatner in amazing clarity with no grain. What the hell? Depth of field. Oh my god. That'd be my first use of time travel. Be brilliant. Now I guess I have to steal some money or make money somehow to do that. But
It's steal money. You don't want to make money in the past. Anyway, yeah, the conversation switched to Inner Light. We'll talk about that later, guys.
Probably quite a while
There's a
later.
few episodes. There's a few episodes of Trek that are fantastic, award-winning episodes of Trek, but to me don't feel like Trek. So, Eugene though throws in 500 rubles.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, come on, Inner Light. It's 10 out of 10 TNG, 10 out of 10 soft sci-fi, totals to 12 out of 10. Well, I'm a TNG kid. I define Star Trek by Inner Light, not vice versa. I don't often disagree with you much, Eugene, but I know it's great. I have a hard position to defend because I really enjoy the episode. It's fantastically written, acted, and everything, like I said, but it just doesn't feel like Star Trek to me. So yes, it's a great episode of Star Trek, but it's not to me. I don't know. It's a tough thing to describe.
I like it a lot, for what it is, if that makes sense. You know, but it's like Measure of Man. We just watched that, and it's like it is great for what it is, but it's got, you know, certain parallels which are sort of okay. That's what it is. You know, whereas that's why the one before that I liked more, Heart of Glory.
Yes.
Because it really gives a lot of Trek, you know, a lot of inner Trek knowledge and learning. That like, oh, that was Trek. It would have been nice if Inner Light took Picard back in time to an actual Federation world. Maybe not Earth, that's too much, but like Vulcan. I don't know how you do it, but some sort of Earth. Maybe like Alpha Centauri, you know? And then he meets Cochrane, and that's cool. And, you know what I mean? You can make it more Trek very easily. But it's definitely a good one. It's one of those things where Trek, in the early days when Gene was in charge, had a lot of those very classical sci-fi writers, TOS especially, where it's high concept sci-fi, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like one for sure. I'm looking forward to going listen to it. But it'll take a while to get there, for sure. So I guess thanks, guys. And our next live will be...
Thursday.
We're looking at the next one.
It'll be the next episode of TNG, which is Contagion.
Ah, yes. The one that you didn't remember what it was about, and I had all the knowledge about it. It's the Iconian Gateway.
Let's see. I gotta look. Okay.
And the Yamato game.
Well, you see Toronto City Hall in that one, so it's one of the buildings that you see through the Iconian Gateway.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like
Because it's a futuristic looking building, right?
I like that one a lot. I'm a big fan of that one. So I'm excited to watch that one, see if it's as good as I remember. And I haven't watched The Mastered yet, so I'm excited to re-see it. Okay, great. So we'll see you guys on Thursday. Thank you all for joining in, having fun with us, and good to see Eugene back. But do you see Jill? Was Jill here?
Did not see Jill at all. No.
Oh, Jill. I hope what you're doing was useful and good. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.
Thursday. Bye, guys.